The hum of machinery reverberated through the sterile halls of the Helios 9, a state-of-the-art space station orbiting the enigmatic alien world, Epsilon 4. Its sleek metallic surfaces and advanced technology bore witness to humanity's relentless pursuit of knowledge and exploration. A team of elite researchers, clad in specialized suits, floated gracefully through the artificial gravity fields, preparing for their groundbreaking survey of Epsilon 4. Commander Elena Rodriguez, a seasoned astronaut with a trail of successful missions behind her, led the expedition. Her crew consisted of Dr. Jonathan Hayes, a brilliant xenobiologist, Captain Olivia Foster, a skilled pilot with nerves of steel, and Lieutenant Marcus Turner, an exometeorologist tasked with studying the alien planet's atmospheric conditions. Their mission: to explore the unique ecosystem of Epsilon 4, catalogue its flora and fauna, and unlock the secrets hidden within its uncharted terrain. The researchers embarked on this journey with a sense of anticipation and wonder, unaware of the imminent horror that awaited them. As they descended onto the alien world's surface in advanced exploration suits, they marveled at the bizarre landscapes that stretched before them. Strange, luminescent plants emitted an otherworldly glow and illuminated the way for exploration. Dr. Hayes, eager to unravel the mysteries of Epsilon 4's biology, collected samples of various organisms, his gloved hands expertly handling the high-tech equipment. Amid the survey, the team stumbled upon a peculiar discovery, a pulsating fungus with spores that emitted a faint, mesmerizing glow. "What's that there?" said Foster, pointing at the glowing fungus. Dr. Hayes, driven by scientific curiosity, rushed to the site of Foster's discovery and began to reach for a jar to take a sample of the specimen. "It must be a fungus of some sort, I'm sure of it," he said, with a grin reminiscent of a child in a candy store. Just as he went to cut the fungus from its stalk, it exploded. Puffs of glowing green smoke filled the air in front of Dr. Hayes. Caught off guard, he fell back. The crew descended into laughter, all except for Turner. "When did your suit get punctured?" he questioned Hayes, who was just now getting to his feet. "Punctured? I haven't..." Hayes had just spotted what Turner was referring to. On his right side, just below the armpit, was a small opening in his suit. Hayes's face went blank, but he soon began to panic. "Calm down, Hayes. The air is breathable. We just wear the suits as an extra precaution. As long as you don't touch anything else while we are here, you should be fine. But either way, we might as well make our way back to Helios." The crew returned to Helios 9, the air tinged with an uneasy atmosphere as the afterglow of their ill-fated expedition lingered. Hayes, displaying no apparent symptoms, was placed in quarantine for precautionary tests to ensure he hadn't been exposed to any dangerous elements on Epsilon 4. Meanwhile, Turner, aware that the next expedition was 2 months away, opted to enter cryo-sleep to conserve resources until his expertise was needed once more. Unexpectedly, Turner awoke to blaring sirens and pulsating red lights, disoriented and alarmed. Glancing at the date display, he realized with a sinking feeling that only 15 days had passed since he entered cryo-sleep. The ominous signs of a lockdown triggered memories of protocol, prompting him to hastily don his spacesuit. He rushed out of his quarters and made his way through the space station, intending to end up at the control center. Maybe someone there could tell him what was going on. Turner navigated the dimly lit corridors of the space station and saw that the walls had become overgrown with what looked like mold. It seemed strange that the crew would let a mold overgrow the walls in the short time that he was out. Still, he needed to find someone, and he continued on to the control center. He eventually rounded a corner where he spotted a figure at the end of the hallway. Hayes. A sense of relief washed over him as he called out, seeking an explanation. However, Hayes, with an unnerving cock of his head, remained silent. Something was off. The red lockdown lights continued to pulsate, illuminating Hayes's face in the distance. Panic set in as Turner noticed the deteriorating state of Hayes's skin, an inhuman quality emerging. Hayes, with his head still cocked to one side, started by walking, which evolved into an inhuman sprint towards Turner, who stumbled backwards in terror. Whatever it wasn't Hayes, or at least it wasn't Hayes anymore. Turner got up and raced away from Hayes, not knowing where he was going, only that he was getting farther away from Hayes. Luckily, Turner found himself at the entrance to the control center. Full of fear, he barricaded himself inside. Now, out of breath, he sank to the floor and racked his brain for an explanation for what he had just seen. Maybe it had something to do with the fungus they had found on Epsilon 4, but if that were the case, where was everyone else? Turner looked up and found his answer. Shock flooded his face. There, on the wall to the control center, was Commander Rodriguez, or at least her remains. A nightmarish expression of agony was permanently fixed on her face. She was stuck to the wall by some type of fungus that had been growing out of her corpse and had taken over the majority of the wall. The fungus, though bigger than what was on Epsilon 4, bore a striking resemblance to its parent, though more sophisticated. The pieces were lining up for Turner, but he wanted to confirm his suspicions. Accessing the surveillance system in the control center, Turner viewed recordings of Hayes's gradual transformation over the past 15 days. Shockingly, Hayes broke free from containment, attacking and turning others into monstrous entities like himself. Turner had to contact someone, but realized that long-range communications were knocked out, leaving him isolated among the chaos. He was alone, with a dozen or so of his former colleagues, who, if they were anything like Hayes, were now bent on turning him into a monster like themselves. It was then that Turner thought up a plan. Most of the creatures were congregated in the mess hall, as far as the security footage showed. It was there that Turner got their attention and drew them in pursuit to the sanitation deck. It was common practice that trash was taken to the sanitation deck and was then sucked into space through the airlock. If Turner could get the creatures to follow, he could do the same to them. Turner made his way to the airlock lever, and with a quick pull, the creatures began to be ejected into the cold vacuum of space. In the chaotic rush, however, Turner failed to secure himself. He had tied himself to the handle with a spare seat strap, but hadn't accounted for the sheer number of creatures that were present. Each of them flew past Turner as he held on for dear life. One by one, they were sucked into space. Turner turned to watch them fly away into the black expanse of space, but was knocked free from his tether by a body being sucked out. Turner grasped for refuge, but it was futile, and he too was sucked into the abyss. He tumbled farther and farther from the station into space, the station finally fading from view. In the silent void, Turner's screams went unheard, forever lost to the vast emptiness of space.